Hey there. So I wanted to show a recipe that I cannot remember if I have shown you before, but I was in the mood for this because we've had it a couple of times now, and I just wanted to share it. A lot of people know how to cook with dry beans, and I never did up until the past year, especially because of the way the times are and people are prepping and just keeping supplies on hand just in case you need to stay home a little bit longer, or prepping, especially in Southern California, for me is about earthquakes too. So there's a lot of natural disasters or things like the COVID virus happening, and then things fly off the shelves. And prepping is just preparation for either an emergency or just having enough stock at home that you don't have to go out if you choose not to. So anyway, the long and the short of it is I'm basically trying to tell you about one of my absolute favorite bean soups is the Hearst Ham Beans brand of Cajun 15 bean soup. Now I went ahead and with dried beans you have to soak them, and I soaked all the beans last night, and then I ran out of time to finish preparing it. So I thought today would be a great day. But what I wanted to tell you is that inside of the bag are the beans, and then there's a packet that has the Cajun spices in it. So I'm going to reach over, and what I had done is, actually it was the night before, so I'm not completely truthful on this, but there's a multitude of different types of beans in this particular packet, and they've been soaked. They were in the refrigerator in this freezer bag, and then I'm going to transfer them over into my crock pot. You can cook it on a stock pot on the stove, and that's fine. In fact, that's the way the recipe calls for. But the crock pot has just been so much easier for me for a lot of different things. Recently, we've been putting meat in it that is a little bit cheaper meat, and because it's slow cooking, it cooks it so thoroughly that it's just absolutely like butter in your mouth. So I opted for this. Also, I hear about Nesco, and I have yet to be able to use a Nesco. I bought one on eBay, and I'm really disappointed because I went ahead and I plugged it in, and it started to catch fire. And that was scary. Really scary. So because I had purchased it quite a while ago and had only started to experiment with different kitchen devices, I went ahead and had to throw it away. I suppose I could have tried to find out if it could be fixed, but I did not, and that's the end of that Nesco. But I bought a new Nesco, and I'm really sad to say that the box got ruined. Is anybody else having problems with, whether it's the postal carrier, UPS, or FedEx? They bring my boxes with giant gashing holes in them or crushed sides, and I'm getting really upset about that. Having damaged goods, having damaged cans. You're not supposed to have bent cans, but this was a brand new Nesco that I ordered, and I ordered it I think on Amazon, and it came broken and with holes in it. So okay, so there's a lot of things that I get a little anxiety about. But let's go back to the bean soup, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about bean soup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the beans inside of the crock pot, and the instructions say that I need to... So speaking of FedEx or UPS, I think I had a delivery, and my dog is doing what she does best to let me know. So, but I was going back to, on the package, it says to put the beans in your pot, in a pot, and then add 8 cups of water. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't have my Berkey system set up. I am not using tap water. I am using bottled Arrowhead water. So I'm going to get ready to... Oh, that's right. My measuring cup. It's broken. I can't use it. I held on to it because I was grieving. But wait. Grieve not no more, my heart. It looks brand new. That's because somebody blessed me and found the exact same measuring cup. And I'm so grateful. And thank you so much. That was so kind and so thoughtful. And it's so beautiful. It looks brand new. It looks better than the one that I bought at the swap meet. And I'm going to use it. And I'm going to use it right now. So it calls for 8 cups of water. There's a big thank you in there. And God bless you. I just wanted to thank you. The recipe calls for 8 cups of water. So pretty. It's so pretty. Calls for 8 cups of water, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure it out. And back in home economics in junior high, I always measure out loud. 2. You know, it would help to put the beans in as well. That way I don't splosh it. All right. That was 2. I hear the echo of 2. 4. 6. 'Do you hear my rooster? 8. Thank you. I have 3 roosters. Remember, I had 2, and one of them pretended to be a hen for quite a while, and then couldn't help itself and started to crow, and then I realized I had 3 roosters. These are the ones that I incubated from eggs that I got off of eBay, and they're silkies, but they're weird looking. The one, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, one of them looks like something from Jurassic Park, and that's the one that turned into actually being a rooster. I'll have to take videos of the different chickens that I have. Each one has a personality, and by the way, the little hen that got hurt is has not mended, but I'm going to take care of her. And she's eating, and she tries to stand, but I think it's her right leg that's wrong. And she uses her wing to prop herself up, but she's not able to run around, and I know that must just be difficult for her. So I'm going to continue with the rest of this recipe. And we got the water And I'm going to read the instructions and continue on because we're going to add some meat to this. Okay, so at Whole Foods, I ordered Nature's Rancher smoked uncured kielbasa, and I'm going to cut these up into coins. And then I'm going to go over to my stove over here, and I'm going to fry it with some sliced onions, and I'll show that to you when I'm done cutting things up. So I've carved up the Polska Kielbasa into coins, and then I have onions and olive oil. I get this from Trader Joe's. For whatever reason, that's the one that tastes the best to me. And I'm getting my handy dandy wooden spatula, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook the onions a little bit till they're slightly opaque, and I'm going to add the meat to it. Okay, I'm going to add the little coins of Polska Kielbasa. And then I'm gonna cook that until they're slightly brown. Okay, so I'm reading the ingredients, and we need the juice of 1 lemon. Well, that was scary. Scary. I've had this wooden juicer in my drawer for probably 17 years, and I used it the other day while I was doing some canning, and it just kind of felt better. Instead of using my glass juicer, it's kind of a vintage one, where I had to press with my hand, and it's not really doing my wrist any good, but it's just a different form of juicing the lemon that for the ergonomics of it all. Today it feels less painful to do it in the wrist. And these are really nice and sharp too. Sometimes you get those glass juicers and you're pushing and pushing, and the only thing is about this, happens with any juicer, is I've got seeds in it, so I will fish those out before I put this in the soup. I don't remember using lemons in the soup, and also I was supposed to put garlic in with the onions and the sausage, but I garlic everything, and so I'm not going to sweat it that I missed putting in some fresh garlic, although it's healthier for you. Maybe I should rethink that. But you can go ahead and add fresh garlic. We always use powdered. My mom just, I never in my life knew what garlic looked like in its natural state. I just thought garlic was a powder in a tin can that my mom used. That tin can was different brands of, I think it was McCormick Shilling. I'm looking in my drawer. I don't have any of the older cans actually in my spice drawer. I have it in a Hoosier that for whatever reason, I ended up keeping, and then you find out that, oh, that's become vintage. Now it's worth a lot more, and because people threw stuff away, like vintage spice cans. They're rare because they were throwaways. I used to go to antique toys. I guess they're shows, and where they sell antique toys, and that was the big thing, that if you got a toy with a package, it was way more valuable. And sometimes people would just go around looking for the package because they had the vintage toy, the antique toy. And one of the things that I really liked was the Radio Orphan Annie's secret decoder pin. And I actually found the one that was in the movie, The Christmas Story. And but the guy was telling me how much more valuable it would have been to have the envelope that it came in through the mail. And I think there might have even been instructions too. But just remember that if you think something is going to be collectible in 30 years, when the kids today grow up to the adults and wish that they still had their toys or their things or what have you. But just in the past few months, packaging has changed. Everybody is leaning more towards minimal advertising. It doesn't look enticing at all. It's really a shame because there's no artistry anymore and there's no music. How the heck does this happen? I'm showing you that we need to have lemon juice in the soup. Well, now I'm going to take you over to where I'm going to add some more ingredients. Okay, I figured it out. I am not strong enough to lift that pan and safely empty out the meat and the onions into the soup. I would drop it and destroy probably the crock pot and the counter at the same time. And there's no way I'm gonna risk that. These onions, by the way, they came from my garden. And it says to use one large onion. And I use 3 somewhat smallish onions to equate to the 1 large. So, alright, the next part is to put in 14.5 ounces, which is exactly what is on the can. And the thing is that the way they're doing shrinkflation, a lot of recipes are going to get messed up. Oh, and this is an example of a bent can from Walmart. They throw their things around. You add diced tomatoes. Whoa, are you seeing that? That I need a bigger crock pot. I will look for a bigger crock pot. Because what I do is I, like a lot of people who make big batches and are not really big families, I'm going to freeze a few of these, and then Atticus and I can have them later in the fall when it actually starts to get cooler, or the winter. It comes out great. And all right, the lemon juice. And again, I don't remember putting in lemon juice. And I don't know the chemistry behind it, why it's needed. I should probably, on the safe side, pull some of this liquid out. But the other thing is the packet of seasoning. Has a Cajun flair to it. says Cajun seasoning. I faked the flare. Okay. Stir that up good. And I am going to probably let this be in the crock pot, and I have it on high for a good 5-6 hours, I would imagine. Yep. I'm going to take some liquid out. If you have a big crock pot, you're not going to have to worry about that. But I am fearful of this overflowing. I mixed all the ingredients, that way it's homogenized with the seasoning and whatever other liquids were added. I wonder if I should have maybe let the juice from the diced tomatoes, just, you know, take the juice out of the tomatoes and just have the tomatoes. It would have added so much liquid to it too. Okay. Now I'm just going to wipe the rim a little bit and hope and pray it doesn't bubble over. It's a little pool here. Okay. So I shall return. Gotta put the lid on. I shall return in 5 or 6 hours. Okay, so I don't have it out in a pretty bowl with a chunk of sourdough bread on the side lathered in delicious Land O'Lakes butter. But I put them in containers because we are going to have some later out of this bowl. And I wanted to just show there's quite a bit, and I'm going to freeze some of it for future dinners. And the whole house smells incredible. It's really delicious. So this is our soup du jour, and I'm not really sure what that means. Does that mean soup of the day? Or I can just say bon appetit. And thanks for watching.